Welcome everyone to Take a Step Back. I'm Bryan Crotaz, Managing Director of Silver Curve. We're an independent integrator. We work with the entire industry, helping them integrate projects, build turnkey solutions. And the key thing is we don't have our own products, we only work with third-party products, and we work with everyone's third-party products. So we build bespoke user interfaces, intelligent content, plugins to existing content and existing software, integration between third-party products, and integration with data. So what are we trying to do as an industry? We're trying to communicate. And we're trying to communicate efficiently and effectively. And a customer will come to me and say, I've got hundreds of screens, thousands of screens, and I can't afford the staff to control that complexity. So I'm going to do something really simple that actually you could have done with a TV channel 15, 20 years ago. Someone else will come to me and say, I can't seem to buy a turnkey solution. Every salesman out there at this show is selling their product and their piece of the solution. And everyone tells me that their system is the best. So should I buy Prism? Should I go for gesture interaction, OmniShapes? Which software should I use? Should I be using IPTV or Store and Forward? Should I be using that amazing transparent LCD? Do I need audience monitoring? Or can I get everything in one box from Signage Live and it's all going to be easy? And to all of those, I'd say no. Integrate the best of breed for each piece. Get the best screen for your needs, the best audience monitoring for your needs, the best software for your needs. And that will be different for every customer. So if we take some examples, if we look at retail, take an example of someone like Tesco. 30,000 brands per store, but a different 30,000 brands in every store, based on the size of the store, the demographics local to that store. Some will have a predominantly Jewish audience, so they're going to have a lot of kosher food that you're not going to find in someone that has a predominantly Muslim audience, for example. So managing the right content to the right store is a really hard problem, because I don't want to advertise something that's not in stock at that store, because now I've got a disappointed customer, and I've wasted time on that screen that I could have been selling something that I do have in stock. So if we take our video assets, our images, our templates, and tag them with the SKU. We tag the players with the branch. And then we integrate and build automated playlists. So as a user, I don't manage playlists, I manage assets. And I link those assets to the products in my catalog. And then the system, the turnkey solution, works out what goes where and when. We take data-driven content. Classic example would be an estate agent. Images and text coming from their database. Video coming from a database, choosing which video from the marketing database based on the data within the stock database or the demographic database. Dynamic pricing, pricing that's different at different times of day, different audiences. If I'm running a burger joint in the arrivals zone of an airport, I don't have repeat business. So if I have a peak time where there's long queues, I'll put the prices up by 50 pence. I'll take them down again when it's quiet and I need to generate more business. I can have content driven by SKUs, not only taking the correct content for the correct SKUs in that store, but changing the content based on what SKUs are available. So if I'm looking at the women's wear department of a department store, I'll show obviously mainly women's wear content. But outside the changing room, I've got a mainly male audience waiting for their wives to get changed. So there I can sell the barbecue down in the food department. I can sell a new tie, a new pair of socks. KPI displays are a classic example of this for corporate signage. We've done a lovely system for Net-a-Porter showing their worldwide sales as flags on a 3D globe. We bring in the IP address of the web customer, we do a lookup to get a lat long, and then we show the brand and the value as a little flag on the globe, and we spin that round and it updates every 10 seconds. Completely data-driven, there's no manual content on there at all, it's totally integrated with their web solution. Customer comes to me and says, I want the same content, this beautiful content you've generated for me for signage, but I want it on my website. We take that same asset, that same metadata, but a different integration script, and now I can output Flash, I can output Scala script, I can output design content, RSS, HTML5, whatever we want to do for that customer, generate emails, but it's the same asset. And therefore we're leveraging that same cost of content creation and doing something else with it. I want to get viewer feedback. I've got a piece of content on the screen. I want to get some feedback from the viewer in the street into me. It might be a text shortcode, a QR code. And here we're not integrating the technology, we're integrating the content systems. So I want the message that goes to them when they text that number to be linked to the content we had on screen. So we're linking together the multi-channel content generation across mobile, across web, across signage, and bringing it all into the same marketing message, the same campaign. I have a great belief in using best-of-breed products. It's a fantastic example. Qmatic have one of the best queue management systems in the world. Cashier number 3, please, all that stuff. But they also have a signage system, and it's an extremely basic signage system. It puts pictures up on screen, puts a little loop of 10 pictures up. And it's fantastic if you've got 10 tills in 10 stores. But if you've got this as part of a larger system, a banking system, a retail system, whatever it might be, you've probably got a signage system elsewhere on the network that you're managing centrally. You've got content that you want to show in the store and at the till. So you shouldn't be using the Qmatic signage system. Use the same signage system you're using elsewhere and integrate it with the Qmatic queuing system. So take each of the different parts of the system, take the best manufacturer that fits your needs in each place and bring them together into one system. In retail banking, as a classic example, mortgage advisors are shared between branches. If I walk into a bank and I want to speak to a mortgage advisor right now, 50% chance they're in a different branch today. And I'm going to have to come back, or I'm going to have to take more time off work to come back and see them during the week. Specialist advisors are sometimes needed. If I want a particularly difficult, complicated mortgage, if I'm doing a buy-to-let or something like that, I may need someone other than the person that's normally handling the main bank traffic. So we can use video conferencing, integrate it into the signage system, have a call center of a set of specialist staff, telepresence into the branch, a small little office booth with a mirrored office booth at the other end of the link, so it looks as if I'm talking to someone in the same office that I'm in. But bring that together with signage. It's not just video conferencing on a screen. There's information around the video feed controlled by the person at the other end. So they're linking not into just generating a video stream with the information in it driven from their end. They're controlling the signage player at my end to put high-quality, vectorized content, uncompressed, onto my screen. I'm delivering that across the network once, and then I'm just streaming the video feed to go with it. So there we're integrating a signage player, AMX Crestron touch panels, Cisco video conferencing, a call center, all these different pieces coming together and being built into a turnkey solution that, as far as the customer is concerned, they press a button and they're talking to someone. They don't care what technology is behind it. Car showroom of the future I've talked about for a number of years now. It's a classic example of where signage can be used for much more than just a sales message. It's much more of a theatre piece. In a car showroom, it's typical there's only 1 or 2 customers in there at any one time, and they're buying a very high value product, and a very high margin product. So if I go in and want the BMW 7 Series, the showroom assistant should have a remote control. They hit BMW, the lights come down, the spotlights move around onto the BMW in the middle of the floor. The video comes up on the wall of the BMW marketing video. As he starts to talk about the engine, the lighting moves onto the engine. The lighting lights up the wheels when he talks about the alloys and all the options I can have. The lighting inside the car is controlled, so when he talks about the interior options, the car lights up on the inside. If I want to sit in the car and test the suspension, I've got vibration creation under every wheel of every car, and I can see what the difference in feel is between a Ford and a BMW. Why should I buy the expensive car? Well, try out the two of them. See what it's like on a bumpy road, see what it's like on tarmac, see what it's like on concrete. All of that can be integrated together into a theatre experience, combining signage, robotics, lighting, bringing it all together. Then we get system monitoring. If I'm going to spend all this money on a system, and I know I'm getting value from that system, I need it to be up and running. I need to know when it's not, and I need to mend it. So system monitoring, we're going to take the logging from all the different systems. We're going to take the content management from all the different systems. We're going to take the support desk, the engineers system, and bring them all together into one system. So when the automated logging discovers a fault, it automatically sends an email to the right engineer for that branch. It also informs the support help desk. So when the staff phone up from the branch saying, my screens are black, the help desk has got a page that says, yes, we know, they've been black since 2 o'clock yesterday. The engineer was called at 3 o'clock. They'll be with you this afternoon with a new screen. The engineer knows exactly which kit to put in the van, so you can reduce the gold stock held, and we can report an SLA back to the customer and say we were booked to do it within 24 hours, we did it in 22 hours. And not only did the engineer sign off that it was working, but we have a log back from the system that says it's now working. If we then add resilience to it, if I've got, for example, electronic menus in a fast food restaurant, and those screens go black, I'm not allowed to trade. By EU law, I have to show my prices to the customer. So if that screen goes down, 0 revenue until they're back up. So we can either have a half-hour call-out on our engineers and pay a fortune for that, and have engineers sitting all around the country just in case they're needed with spare parts in the van. Or we can put a cheap VGA device with just a single frame with a standard menu on it or a logo or something that just keeps the screens running something. It's not perfect, it's not the full animation, it's not the beautiful content, but it's enough to trade. That then means I can go from having a half-hour call-out to a next business day call-out on my SLA. Suddenly I've reduced the cost massively for a very small increase in cost on the hardware. And again, integrating all that together so that the VGA device kicks in automatically if the player goes down, if the screen reports no syncs, for example, then that can all be brought together. Now we get to content. And a disclaimer, I'm going to be extremely inflammatory. As an industry, we do not know how to make good signage content. I'll tell you why. We've been making posters for 2,000 years. We've been making film for 100 years. We've been doing television for 70 years. We've been making signage content for a decade. And we pretend to ourselves that we know what we're doing. Most networks have been around 2 to 5 years. And they've got 1 or 2 people making content for them. The big networks have got 10 or 15 people. There are thousands of people making film. There are thousands of people making television. Tens of thousands around the world. So as an industry, we don't yet know how to make good signage content. Or really good. We're making okay signage content. It works. But we could do a lot better. The trouble is we don't know how yet. There isn't a bunch of published research. The research that has been done, in the experience that I've had, the customers has such good results, they do not want to tell their competitors how good it is. They can discover themselves, but I want my 2 or 3 years of advance notice on that. So do I put half price, 2 for 1, 50% off? Was £4, now £2. I'm saying the same thing, but it has a different impact on the customer. Do I make it blue or red? Do I animate the background or the foreground? Do I make it a 30-second ad or a 5-second ad? We have general metrics that tell us what sort of works and what doesn't. For example, in a window, we know that a dwell time in a window is 1 to 2 seconds maximum. So why are we still seeing retailers putting 45-second, 1-minute content in their window? You walk past a Ryman's, all their content is 45 seconds long, and it takes 45 seconds to get the message because it comes up 1 point at a time. That content's completely useless to them. But somehow, their content creation team have said, yep, that's fine, we'll put that in. So what I propose is that when you generate content, you generate multiple versions of it. 5 or 6 different versions, different colors, different animation, different text. But you change one thing in those 5 versions. And you put them out in the field, 5, 10 stores, and you test them 48 hours. And you monitor the eyeballs watching that screen. You monitor the number of heads in the room and the number of eyeballs looking at you. That gives you a percentage of the audience that looked at the screen for long enough to get the message. And for each message, you time how long it takes to actually read it out loud and get the message into your head. And if those eyeballs are only looking at it for 3 seconds, but it takes 4 seconds to get the message, no one got your message. Then you take the best one and you publish it to all your sites. And you go back and you tweak it again. You take the best one and tweak that in a different way. And do it continuously. And that way, every time you do that, you will get better and better results. There's a study done in Norway where they did this, and they started with about 20% of the eyeballs in the room actually getting the message. A week later, they had 80% of the eyeballs looking at the same message. So they've quadrupled the value of that message. Whether you're trying to increase footfall, get an idea in someone's head, sell a product, you've quadrupled the number of people that have seen that message. Now, obviously not every one of them is going to buy that product or get that message. But if 1% of the 20% got it, then 1% of the 80% have got it, and you've just quadrupled the value for basically the same cost. So why should we integrate at all? We can use the best of breed across every part of our network, and we don't need a turnkey solution from a single manufacturer. We can go to multiple manufacturers and put them all together. We can automate the content management so that we don't need lots of people running our system. We can automate the system monitoring for high reliability and resilience. We can optimize the performance of our content. We can drive that content from data so that we can do much more complicated things for the same cost. And we can add resilience. And at the end of the day, we can communicate effectively. So I would recommend that if you're building a system, don't make your prime contractor a manufacturer. Make your prime contractor an integrator, ideally an independent integrator. It's absolutely fine to go to someone like Beaver Group that's a Scala integrator, but you know if they're recommending software, they're recommending Scala. That will probably fit your needs, but it might not. And if it doesn't, they're not going to recommend something else. But if you go to an independent integrator, then you'll get the best of breed that fits your needs. And that best of breed will be different for every customer because every customer's needs are different. Let's take a step back, integrate, and look at the holistic picture, not just the technology. Thank you very much. Any questions? Thank you.